So, the war on drugs. Who here knows about what the war on drugs is? All right, good. So the war on drugs has been a domestic policy in our country that's been around since the 1970s, for about 48 years. But here, I'm going to explain to you why it's a failing system. So, Nixon and his administration are responsible for creating this policy. And the purpose for this policy is because he wanted to stop drug use among United States citizens. Instead of treating it like a medical issue, he's treating it like a criminal issue. So if you happen to be addicted to a substance, if you've been caught with possession, you'll be going to jail. So he created an enforcement agency called the Drug Enforcement Administration. You might have seen some references on them on shows like Breaking Bad and all that. And he also created the Controlled Substance Act, which basically lists from 1 to 5, 1 being the most addictive substance to 5 being the less addictive. So, now that I explained to you its origins and its purpose, let's go into why it's a broken system. So, does not work. Does not work because it ruins lives. What I mean by that is because if you get caught by law enforcement for possession, you will go to jail. You will go to jail where you spend a lot of time spend a lot of time about going over your problem. So, and the fact it's not treated as a public health issue pretty much undermines that these people are suffering with a disease that they cannot help. Ruin jobs opportunities. The reason why it's ruined job opportunities, and even it's ruined jobs opportunities because of the fact that if you have a record from your previous drug possession, you'll most likely not get that job you wanted. Or if you want to go to college, you want to get a student loan, you'll get denied that because you have a drug-related record. So, and it separates families. Let's say someone you love is suffering from this condition, and they get caught by law enforcement. Guess what? You probably won't see them for a while. Waste of tax money. According to drugpolicy.org, about $50 billion of our tax money is being funded to fight this failed system. It's a lot of money, And the penal system, which is my favorite part, mandatory minimum sentence. So the mandatory minimum, how that works is that when you get convicted of a crime, of your drug crime, you will either do 5, 10, 20, or even for life. Mostly for the life is people that are like selling it. And also the fact that you're in jail and you're doing time for what you've done, guess what? You can still get your hands on drugs. Isn't that ironic? And how these drugs are being smuggled in? Corrupt correction officers. Oh yeah, they get paid off by these cons to bring in all these drugs. And honestly, the fact that you could still get your hands on drugs in jail, it's a perfect example why this is a broken system. I mean, come on. And the marijuana legalization. So, it's a good start. It's a good start because a lot of people are going to jail over Mary Jane. And also the fact that Colorado, California, and Nevada are legalizing this plant, it reflects on how the drug was a failure. There's a high demand for marijuana on the streets. And at least the residents living in those legal states, at least they're not going to jail for having this substance on them. And also the fact that marijuana is legal in those states, it does not overcrowd their jails for simple possessions. CNN has gotten data about 2015, over 200 million tax dollars were collected in Colorado. Think about how much money we could use that for school, roads, and even if you support this, maybe universal health care. All that much money could be towards for us. And now, good old Al Capone. I mean that ironically. So, Prohibition happened about almost 100 years ago. You got your Al Capone, your Charlie Luciano, your Meyer Lansky, Arnold Rothstein, all those big-time bootleggers. And in their time, alcohol was illegal. And the point of having alcohol illegal is because to basically stop many Americans to abuse it. And you know what? It failed. because a lot of Americans still got their hands on illegal booze. And this war on drugs is a clear-cut example about how history is repeating itself. So let's get to some solutions. We need to decriminalize all drug possession. And also, taxing and regulating these types of substances can also be beneficial. Could also be beneficial for our government too. In Portugal, as a matter of fact, Portugal, they decriminalized all drug use, all drug possessions, and they're having a much better time controlling this. And there's a less heroin overdose in Portugal, so you can tell that they're doing a good thing. So, in conclusion, wasted tax money. Good job, Nixon, because right now, with your system, drugs use is not on the decline. As a matter of fact, we're going through an opioid epidemic, especially where I'm from. A lot of people I went to school with suffering from opioid addiction, and the fact that they're treated as criminals is not helping their situation. It's just making it worse. So